Hello and welcome back to Everything Home Repair. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple things you could do to determine the age of your sprinkler system. So one of the most obvious parts you're going to look at is the sprinkler heads themselves. So this would be a lawn system. If you have a drip system, that most likely is a more current system installed a couple of years ago. Here is a lawn system, which is about 20 years old. The heads have been replaced several times, but right here is a more modern head. So this is what you're probably going to have in your sprinkler system. And these most likely have been installed over the last 10 to 20 years. They're fairly common. What you're going to find in most sprinkler systems. If you have one of these, that's pretty normal. And but if you find something that looks more like this, that's going to be your older sprinkler system. These are plastic, or they also come in a brass version. They still sell these today for replacement, pop-up sprinklers. But if you have something that looks more like this, that would be your older system installed, 40 to 20 years ago. You would normally see something like this. Here's an Orbit version. Rainbird used to make them. A couple different brands like this. Okay, so aside from your sprinklers, which may not look exactly like that, there's a couple other things you can check. Next thing, you're going to want to check the timer. Most of these are pretty current. Some of them, they plug into an outlet. That's pretty modern. Other ones will be hardwired. But this is an Orbit Easy Dial. This is a current sprinkler timer. Pretty new. And so if you have something that has a big dial in it, is yellow, or just looks like an older timer with a small screen, not very intuitive, you probably have a system more like a 30-year-old system. This one is pretty current. So you should be able to open these things up. Panel swings. You also check the condition of the wiring, how many stations. Newer systems tend to have more stations. This one is about 20 years old. You can see a little wear of wires. Looks like we've had a wire replacement or two. This is Orbit control. Most of these are pretty modern. Nothing is a definite teller of the age. This stuff may have been replaced, but new ones also tend to have locks on them. These are some things you can maybe tell. The last place you should look at is the valve boxes. This one here's a couple years old. If you lift it up, you want to be careful if there's any animals hiding in here, as they often do. You pull up from that lip. There's a green lid you can set aside. Right there. And if you look inside, newer valves probably be made by Orbit or Rainbird. And we may have these grease sealer caps here. They'll be green or black plastic. If you have an older system, you may notice cracks on the top of the black cylinder here called a solenoid. And it may also be a brass valve. This is typically a pretty big item to repair or replace. If you have a really old system, instead of having them in a box like this, you're going to have valves that will be just above the ground. There'll be manual brass valves that you'd have to manually turn on and off. And they sell conversions for these. Other valves may stick above the ground. They take very many different forms. I'll show you another version. This is the main valve box, water supply. This one's bigger. It has 4 valves in it. These are also current valves. They may take several different forms. You got brass piping here, steel. That might be older. Typically nowadays they use PVC or sometimes copper. Thank you for watching this video on how to determine the age of your sprinkler system. Thank you.